fighters. Rebel spacecraft attacking. Destroy them before they can bring down any of our shuttles. Hostiles inbound. Show them the power of the Empire.
This is Omega-9 responding.
Our Lambda shuttle made it out.
You're going the wrong way.
Enemy fighter is locked in on you.
Coming into your range.
Omega-7 in position.
Hostiles inbound. Show them the power of the Empire.
Copy. Heading for your signal.
Skywalker is here. Take him out. Red 5 is his designation.
Great hit, pilot. Rebel neutralized.
Rebel coward. Victor 3 enemy has arrived.
Shake that fighter. He's right behind you.
They're trying to get a lock on you.
Tally enemy fighters incoming. Protect our transport ships trying to get off-world.
Picked up a shadow.
You're getting locked onto. Homing missile lock on your ship.
That Imperial never saw it coming.
We've got an Imperial ship attempting to flee the area. Neutralize it.
Great shooting. Imperial fighter behind you. Missile locking onto you.
transport eliminated.
I'm locking onto you. Watch your back. Shake that missile lock.
Shake that fighter! He's right behind you!
Deploy security screen around that transport.
They're all over me. I'm going down.
Imperial air defenses coming into range.
Affirmative. Zeroing in on your position. You're not running away, are you?
Luke Skywalker is here in Red 5. He's joining the fight. Red 2 has joined the fight. A GR-75 transport ship is away, guarded against enemy attack.
We lost the transport.
Here come their air defenses. Weapons hot.
I'm going in. Cover me.
There's an enemy fighter behind you. You got him.
They're locking with a missile!
I've got a problem here.
Enemy ship attempting to flee. Block their escape. Imperials inbound.
Affirmative. Fighter support coming up.
You've got one behind you!
They're trying to get a lock on you.
Missile zeroing in on you.
Imperials inbound. Locked in and ready to go. Other direction.
Enemy fighter down.
pressure on the Imperial fleet. Our bombers need a clear passage in order to bring the Star Destroyer down.
Looks like we got a fight on our hands. Not over yet, pal.
They're trying to get a lock on you.
We've inflicted serious damage on that Star Destroyer. Target the exposed areas.
Shake their missile lock.
Homing missile inbound. A missile is locking on.
The Falcon will hold together. Come on, baby, hold together.
You've got a homing missile locking on.
Our bombers have damaged the capital ship. It's vulnerable. Hit it now.
Imperial, on your tail.
All wings. Target the Imperial fighters.
I'm in position. Hostile down.
Our Y-wings have scored a direct hit on the destroyer. Hit the exposed subsystem.
Watch your back, hostile fighter.
They've taken out another cruiser. Stick to the mission. Skywalker is en route. We can't hold the extraction point forever. Pick up the pace.
Han Solo has arrived.
We need to pick up the pace and rescue our droid.
This is the discussion forum. This is playing a little Star Wars Battlefront and just creating an open space to discuss about the new Star Wars movie title that's coming out. You know, this is a great time to be alive as a Star Wars fan, man. Like, there's, you know, the title releases and everything that we get in this time. The fact that we have the Rebels coincide with the movie franchises and stuff. I believe we're starting to get into the Star Wars world and have everything seamlessly woven within one another. I think that was one of the mistakes that the expanded universe did at the time, or I wouldn't say mistake, or didn't have the chance to execute, which was take novels, take the animated shows, take the movies, take the comic books, take the toys and everything, and make it just a streamlined sense of canon, where everything relates to something. You know, a long time ago, you had the original trilogies, You had the original trilogy movies. You had A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and then, you know, almost 15 to 20 years later, you had the novels and the comic books that came out. But the canon, the EU canon, was so convoluted and was so vast because it's been built up throughout the entire existence of the saga itself that it was hard to manage. There was a time when there was canon out and it grew to being coded canon, where it was like the canon that George Lucas approved, and there was B canon and C canon and A canon. Whereas now everything is on the same wavelength. You know, if you go see The Force Awakens, there's a novel that comes out with The Force Awakens that adds up to it. There's a comic book of Poe Dameron that adds up to how the Republic turned into the Resistance after Return of the Jedi. Shattered Empire, which was one of my favorite comics, other than the Darth Vader series, that discusses what happened to Luke, Leia, and Han immediately after Return of the Jedi. That the battle did not just end at Endor, it concluded at Jakku a year and 4 days later. And you would not get to that point if you didn't have the streamlined canon that's being done right now with the Lucasfilm Story Group. And it's gotten to the point now where it's geniusly done, where you have, and a great example of it is seen in Rogue One that just happened. Rogue One has Rebels content in it, it has the original trilogy content in it, it has the prequels in it, it has everything in it, including the comic books, little throwaway comments, throwaway canon, throwaway trinkets that diehard Star Wars fans would enjoy or would love. These people, and I've mentioned this in every single game that I've done, a stream that I've done, is that these people who are Star Wars fans are now working for Star Wars, and they're working on Star Wars. And this is something that I think needs to be embraced and accepted. This is a new generation of Star Wars. So, with this title, it's been revealed as The Last Jedi. My thoughts on it is significantly upfront and honest. I think The Last Jedi, in that title, is talking about Luke. You must understand that this is a saga about the Skywalkers. Episodes 1 through 9 will delve into the world of, from Anakin Skywalker to Luke to Ben and to whoever else is involved in that family line. Now, who Rey is, who Snoke is, I don't know. I don't think we're going to get a definitive answer in Episode 8 about this. I don't think we're going to get the answers of who is Rey and who's Snoke and all this stuff in Episode 8. I think the thing about our generation in Star Wars is that we're kind of spoiled. And I say this in the fact of we're spoiled in the sense that the people my age, in their late 20s to in their mid to late, early to late 20s, grew up with the Star Wars trilogy already done. You know, we lived through Episode 4, Episode 5, Episode 6. They were in the convenience of our homes. We could watch them on DVD, watch them on Blu-ray, and we had the bigger picture. Snoke is Rey. I mean, the crazy. Honestly, I gave up on the theory. When I first walked out of Force Awakens, I thought that Snoke was Plagueis. That's where I came from. I thought Snoke was Plagueis. But when I found out that it was not that, I gave up. It's like, who else is there? It's like, okay, then I thought it was the Inquisitor in Rebels. And come to find out the Inquisitor died. The Inquisitor died, and then the Inquisitor was a former temple guard. So I was like, okay, it's not that. Then it's like, well, maybe it's Ezra. I mean, Benicio del Toro's character has to be somebody. Snoke has to be somebody. Or they're just new characters. We'll never know because, honestly, we don't have the big picture. That's the thing we have to understand, like, when looking at this new Star Wars world that we're in right now, is the fact that this is a world that is new. It's a blank slate. Well, what we're experiencing right now is the first time since 1977 and 1980 is that we don't have the big picture. We don't understand where Rey comes from. We don't understand why Luke is where he is. And we have to be patient. You have to be patient. You have to be patient the same way that people were patient back in 1977 and 1980 and 1983. No one knew how that Star Wars trilogy was going to end until it ended. Now, we grew up where we had those movies on DVD. We grew up where we had them on VHS and Betamax and all that type of stuff, depending upon how old you are and what generation you come from. But the bottom line is that we grew up knowing that we could see Episode 4, Episode 5, and Episode 6. We knew that Darth Vader was Luke's father because all we had to do was pop in a cassette and watch it. Didn't have that lap of luxury in 1977 to 1979. Or the day before 1980. I think we just need to be patient on that. So when looking at this new title, The Last Jedi, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, I think it's more so about, and this is my interpretation, after years of reading books and taking English class and learning how to read between the lines and stuff, I think that this is about Luke and Rey. Because it's a play on words. It's just like Return of the Jedi. A long time everybody thought Return of the Jedi was about Luke. But honestly, I think it's about Luke. It's about Luke and Anakin. It was about the Jedi Order returning back and coming back to a stronghold. Now, if you look at the Jedi, Luke is the last Jedi that the galaxy knows exists. At this point, we're about 30 years past Return of the Jedi. So you have to look at what's taking place. Okay? Bloodlines, it's already been exposed that Darth Vader was the father of Princess Leia. Or Senator Leia, or General Leia. So that's already been exposed. That may be a big storyline to cover in Episode 8. It was said that Rian Johnson was involved in that material that was done in Bloodlines. So you have to piece these things together and figure out where they go. So this is about Luke. It's about Luke and it's about Rey. And people think ultimately that when it's about the last Jedi, it's about one person. But like I said before, and I say it again, Jedi is a very singular and plural word. It can work for both. I think this movie is going to be about the development of Luke and Rey. And it's going to be about establishing the Jedi Order again. And this new conflict in the galaxy that has arisen in regards to this new evil conflict. The one thing about Star Wars is the same thing about human... And this is the reason why Star Wars is very relatable. Is that Star Wars is about human conflict. It's like World War I was determined to be the war to end all wars. And then you flash forward 30-some years later, then they had a World War II, which was a war to end all wars. Then when that war ended, you had multiple other wars that came about. So, as long as there's human beings, there's going to be conflict. As long as there's going to be families, there's going to be internal strife and conflict of interest and a battle of spiritual power and things. I think it's one of the things that makes Star Wars such an addictive thing to be a part of is the fact that there's always conflict. Because as long as there's human existence, there's going to be a difference of opinions. And those opinions could turn to be powerful and or weak. And that's just the case. I think Episode 8 is going to focus on Rey. And, mark my words, come back to this when this movie comes out. But I think it's going to focus on Rey's development with you. The Force Awakens was about the light side and the dark side starting to take the forefront in the galaxy again. For a certain amount of time, all is what repeats itself. George Lucas said it best that it's like poetry is supposed to rhyme. You know, in The Phantom Menace, you had the light side that was void of the darkness. Darkness rose again at the right time with the discovery of Anakin and the inclusion of Darth Sidious and Maul. And in Episode 7, you have the reign of darkness and the inclusion of the light. Always two there are, a master and his apprentice. No more, no less. So that's what you have now. You have a master and you have his apprentice. That's Rey and Luke. That's one thing you got. So now what you're going to have is the prequel trilogy was about the inclusion of evil, balancing out the works of the good, where evil ultimately won. In the grand scheme of things, paving the way to be overran. In the original trilogy, you had the inclusion of good, balancing out and setting the tone as to what needed to be done. I think with this sequel trilogy, it could go either way. You know, it's establishing the fact that, okay, you have a new generation now of evil and good. And while it may not be the Sith, it's come back in different shapes and forms. You know, Maz Kanata talked about that. You know, the Sith was involved with the Empire, and now Snoke is involved with the First Order. Same script, different cast. So I think The Last Jedi is a very appropriate title for this. It can mean a lot of things, and it could mean that he is the only hope. He's still the new hope. You know, but there's a newer hope now, folks. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be really fun. I can't wait for this movie. Same way I couldn't wait for Rogue One. Rogue One was fun. This is gonna be even like a blast. It's gonna be fun. Sit up there and watch these films and watch them develop and see the big picture. I think I give all my guesstimations as to what will happen, and I think they're going to come to pass. I think Yoda's going to show up in this. I hope Anakin's going to be in it. It would make sense for Anakin to be in it. It would be nice. I think Rian Johnson is more open to bridging the gap between the prequels and the sequels and the original trilogy, more so than J.J. Abrams was. Just because I think J.J. Abrams was playing it safe for being the first Star Wars film in 10 years at that time. So I think you may see a little bit more of the prequel stuff. You're going to see a little bit more of the Star Wars universe finally coming together and bridging gaps and patching up areas that were left in the dark. And that's not a bad thing. You know, there's a lot to read into with this new Star Wars title that's coming out. I like it. I like the outline of the red. I honestly think that it's going to be something serious that's going to happen. It's got to be. There's been no Star Wars title with red in it that was never dark or something that was dire. So, you know, get ready. That's all I got to say. Dude, this dude is camping a whole lot, man. I gotta get him. That's one thing I can't stand in this game is camping. But I usually do videos like this to do discussions and such. I'm a real big fan of getting a gist and talking about these new current things, these new ideas that are just coming out and about and everything. I did not expect that title to be released today. I was expecting it to probably be around February. February, maybe March, probably. Hopefully that means the trailer's coming soon. Maybe in like February or something like that. Never know. No, I know. I just think that the ride that we had for The Force Awakens is not going to happen again. And that's not a negative thing. It's just a human experience type of thing. Like that, like the journey to get to The Force Awakens was the most exciting and relishing experience to have. And I think we can come close to it again as fans for that movie. But I think to think that we're going to actually catch lightning in a bottle again, it's just not going to happen. It's just not. I think it's the same way as it is with the original trilogy. I think fans that are so nitpicky about these new Star Wars films are trying to say, well, they're not like the original ones, and then this and that. Well, they're not going to be. Okay, they have to stand on their own. You're not going to feel the same excitement that you felt when you watched A New Hope for the first time, or The Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi. I think we need to. It's not bad. It's just different. Like, we have to get used to that as human beings. Like, when we experience something the first time, that's a ride like The Force Awakens was. We go back and we say, okay, Episode 8 is going to be this way, so they're going to release that in December. Rogue One's going to be that way, and it's just not. The experience that was done for The Force Awakens is an anomaly. That thing took. And how many people rose out with YouTube accounts and Facebook groups during that time. It was a fun ride. But 2 years later, into this new era of Disney movies and TV shows and stuff, it's kind of hard to revive that. It's kind of hard to get that back. But who knows? I think the hype is going to come out with this new Star Wars title. It's different, being that it's a Star Wars title and not a Star Wars story. And I know that firsthand because of sitting in a movie theater and looking at Rogue One. You see a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and you hear the clapping, you hear people excited about seeing that, and you're waiting to see the Star Wars thing, and you don't. It just flashes to a planet, which is cool. It's just considering the fact that it's just something that's different, and it's something that will take time. I think it's just a fact of something that's different, and it's something we just have to get used to. We have to understand that this is a new Star Wars era, and it's fun. I think it's also unique, too. It just makes the saga more special when you see that Star Wars thing, when you see that Star Wars flash across the screen. Magical. And that's the way it should be. I never can get over how beautiful this looks. Like you can see the circular motion on the circular horizon on the there's a problem, sir. There's no more horizon. You can see the horizon that's on this Death Star the higher you get up. See
Hostiles inbound. Show them the power of the
how
Empire.
beautiful this thing looks.
Affirmative. Heading for your position.
I said this was smaller than the Death Star too.
Behind you! Behind you!
Prepare to engage enemy fighters.
Going in. Enemy fighter on your tail.
Rebels incoming.
In position. Rebel fighter on your tail.
Shake their missile lock.
Prepare to engage enemy fighters.
Omega 2 responding.
Rebel fighter locking onto you.
Rebels incoming.
Preparing for an attack run. Enemy fighter is locked in on you.
Prepare to engage enemy fighters.
Omega 7 in position.
Watch your back, hostile fighter.
These bots are ridiculous. But this is excitement. This is an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. There is no other time other than perhaps, because I lived through about at least two of these periods where you were waiting for the. I mean, waiting for the prequels was one thing because basically we were getting a backstory on what we already knew. Okay. But when you're in a sequel trilogy era, you have no idea what's happening. You have no idea where it's coming from or what's going on or where you're getting your stuff from. So it makes for a more exciting experience to know what's not coming next. We don't know if Rey's going to turn to the dark side. We don't know if Luke is going to die. We don't know if if Han comes back or whatever. We don't know any of these things. So the unpredictable nature of this makes it for an excitement thing. We're along for the ride. And 15 to 20 years from now, when we look back on this period of Star Wars, we're going to be hopefully looking at it the same way that generations before looked at the sequel trilogies. That they were along for this ride. It was fun. It was magical, memorable, funny at best. And this is basically where it's at. Wow, we're getting destroyed in this, too. There's only about like 3 of us in here. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Most unfortunately, like Darth Vader, I can't take down a whole squadron. But that's the new title, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. My last minute predictions, probably before the end of this video. And if I'm right, maybe I'm right. I don't think Luke is going to die in this one. I don't think Rey's going to turn to the dark side in this. I will say we're going to see Rey and Luke become master and apprentice by the end of this thing. I think what we're going to get is we're going to get a balance again of good versus evil. You're going to get a master and apprentice for the light side. You're going to get a master and apprentice for the dark side. Snoke and Ren, Rey and Luke. I think that's what the focus of the movie is going to be on. I think the other focus is going to be on Leia's important role as into trying to redeem her son, as well as the Resistance trying to rebuild after the First Order struck and took out most of the galactic senatorial flagships in The Force Awakens. It's more so going to be a cause and effect and to see where things are going to go. That's where I think this is going to be. I think by the time this movie ends, it's going to be the end game, and it's going to have to come to some resolution that's going to lead into Episode 9. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure doing this stream. It's been a pleasure to get some ideas off my brain about this new title. New title is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, released by StarWars.com today, revealed on their website, as well as multiple news outlets. Guys, be sure to subscribe if you like the material. Leave a comment, leave a message if you wish. If you like, I'll answer them. Always have them around. So, take it easy, guys. May the Force be with you.